You know, seeing your favourite franchise fall into the hands of Disney is a bit like seeing the corpse of your beloved gran fall into the hands of Ed Gein. You know they're gonna do something horrible to it, it's just a matter of time. Case in point, Predator, Killer of Killers, an animated movie from the mind of Dan Trachtenberg, who's rapidly becoming to the Predator franchise what Dave Filoni is to Star Wars. Anyway, the best way I can describe Killer of Killers is that it takes the old "wouldn't it be cool to see a predator fight a insert interesting historical warrior here" idea and makes that the basis for its entire plot. The result is a kind of anthology movie based around a trio of short stories with a big finale event to tie them all together. It's a neat idea in theory, but it's also a good example of the concept being better than the execution. Two of the short stories are actually pretty decent, showcasing interesting characters in novel settings. The third is a bit goofy and over the top, and the finale kind of makes me wish the whole movie hadn't even happened. But to explain it better, I'm going to have to delve into each of the stories, so allow me to illuminate you. The movie kicks off with a group of Viking warriors on a revenge mission against a rival tribe, naturally led by a female warlord named Ursa, because everyone knows that they make for the best soldiers in medieval warfare. What can I say? It's a Disney movie. Of course they had to have a girl boss at the center of everything. Anyway, Ursa and her mates accomplish their mission with great vengeance and furious anger, but it turns out that the real battle's just beginning when a big burly predator decides to have a go at them. What follows is a brutal hand-to-hand fight to the death, with Ursa having to use both strength and cunning to outsmart and outfight her enemy. The second story's set in Feudal Japan, where a ronin named Kiyoshi is out to kill his estranged brother after a childhood confrontation that drove them apart years earlier. Again, there's a decent bit of action and killing and some neat character moments between them, but just as the two men are facing off with each other, they're interrupted by a predator who decides this is his dojo now. But they're not about to put up with that shit, and so the two brothers have to put aside their differences and fight together to take it down. The third story's set during World War II, where a young pilot named Torres discovers that a Predator ship is attacking the other aircraft in his squadron. A super advanced spaceship armed with particle beam weapons versus World War II fighter planes? Guess who comes out on top there? Anyway, Torres has to use his unconventional flying skills and some very quick thinking to take out the enemy before it kills any more of his men. And if that was where the movie ended, I would have been fairly happy with it. Yeah, the Torres story was kinda goofy and the action scenes were so far outside the bounds of reality that it makes the Fast and the Furious franchise look like the pinnacle of gritty realism, but it followed through on its premise to explore different stories throughout human culture and history and delivered a trilogy of neat little self-contained vignettes that don't outstay their welcome. Unfortunately, it doesn't end there. What we find out is that all three survivors were captured, put on ice for years or even centuries, and transported to the Predator homeworld where they're expected to take part in a deathmatch where the winner has to take on the king of the fucking Predators.
Fuck.
I mean, is it just me or does this strike anyone else as being kind of unfair? Never mind the fact that humans are already at a massive disadvantage against predators who are bigger, stronger, more technologically advanced and able to turn invisible. What's the reward for defeating one and actually living to talk about it? Well, they get abducted to the other side of the galaxy and forced to fight a bunch of other humans to the death, and if they somehow survive that, then they have to fight literally the biggest, strongest and deadliest predator warrior in existence.
That doesn't seem fair.
What the fuck do you expect them to do? They don't even know where they are or what's going on. Primitive people like Ursa and Kiyoshi who don't understand about space travel and alien worlds would probably be so paralyzed with absolute terror that they wouldn't even be able to think rationally, let alone fight. And I thought the whole point of predators is that they're an honor-based culture. If you manage to fight and defeat one of them, the others will let you go because you've proven yourself worthy prey. I don't know, maybe these ones are secret assholes or something. Anyway, naturally the scrappy trio learn to put aside their differences and work together to escape, even though they can't actually understand each other's languages, and then Torres magically knows how to fly a Predator spaceship so that the rest of the plot can happen.
Right.
Yeah, what can I say, man? World War II fighter planes and super advanced spaceships are pretty much the same when you get right down to it, I guess.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
Also, I'm not exactly sure what he's supposed to do next when he's got no idea where they are or how to get back to Earth. Oh yeah, and even when they actually do escape, the Predators launch a fucking armada to hunt them down. So even though they actually won, defeated you, and got away, you're still gonna go after them anyway? I mean, is there literally any way for these humans to win? Or are these Predators just straight up assholes that refuse to take the L? I don't know, but it's kind of a shitty way to ruin a decent premise. Like I said earlier, I would have been perfectly happy for this movie to have been a proper anthology, either with no finale to tie the stories together, or for it to end on some kind of cliffhanger where the survivors wake up just as they arrive at the Predator homeworld, thus setting up a potential sequel. As it stands, the ending feels rushed and poorly developed, and there's so much quippy, self-aware humour and implausible gravity-defying fight scenes that it feels more like a Marvel movie than a Predator story. The plot armour here is also off the charts. I lost track of the number of times a Predator picks a main character up by the neck and just throws them across the room when it could easily kill them instantly, or characters surviving falls and impacts that should have absolutely shattered every bone in their body, or Predators somehow forgetting how to fight the moment a tiny human leaps on their back and starts hitting them. Stuff like this is especially jarring and disappointing because the overall tone of the film is actually pretty serious, especially the first two stories that have strong character work and genuinely compelling dramatic moments. Yeah, you kind of have to look past the obligatory girl boss elements in Ursa's story, but beneath the typical modern day bullshit, there's actually a decent narrative about a traumatized woman sacrificing everything for the sake of revenge until she's left with nothing to live for except to fight and die. The film also gives an insight into the Predator homeworld and expands on their culture and society, which I'm still not convinced is something I actually want to see, but there it is all the same. And if I was a cynical man, I'd say this was all about setting the stage for Predator Badlands when it comes out in November, which is going to focus heavily on Predator culture. Oh god, we're getting a Predator cinematic universe, aren't we?
Oh man. Oh god. Oh man.
Visually, at least, I've got no issues with the film. The art style is decent, and although the animation looks a bit janky at times, it's still enjoyable to look at. The voice cast also does a perfectly good job, and it was nice to hear Michael Biehn make an appearance, even if he's hopped over from a different franchise. You traitor, you! I think the movie's overestimating the popularity of Naru from Prey though. A mid-credit stinger suggests that she's still alive and waiting to be brought back for future adventures, as if that's some mind-blowing revelation that fans are gonna lose their minds over. If you really wanted to get people talking, the obvious choice would have been Dutch from the first movie. Like, imagine him coming back for the first time in 40 years with a bunch of other warriors from different centuries to turn the tables on the Predators.
Shut up and take my money!
Ultimately, Killer of Killers is a frustrating kind of movie where the idea is stronger than the reality, an inventive concept ruined by sloppy execution and a cheesy finale that tries way too hard to set up the next product for consumption. And I guess that's the real problem here. Now that there's a flicker of life in the Predator and Alien franchises again, you just know that Disney are gonna milk that shit for all it's worth. Buckle up, Predator fans, because the next few years are gonna be rough. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.